have a property tour, shall we? Brian Lebo here, and today I am actually really excited because this one hits on a personal note. So we are out in Green Valley in the Fountains. Now, having grown up here in the early 90s, going to high school at Green Valley High School, this neighborhood in the Fountains, this was like the Beverly Hills of Las Vegas. It's one of the only guard-gated custom home communities in all of Las Vegas back in the day. And here we are 30 years later, and I can say that the neighborhood is just as nice as it was in the early 90s. And in some ways it's actually better because you have all this mature landscaping, these tree-lined streets. It's just lush and beautiful. And today is kind of like living a childhood dream. And on top of all that, this is Maxx Crosby's home. Las Vegas Raider, Maxx Crosby. So without further ado, let's check out this home. Let's see what they've done. Let's dig into some of the features and see what we can discover. So like we normally do, we're gonna start off in the kitchen and talk about the flooring along the way. Now, the entire main floor of the property consists of real French oak flooring. So really beautiful, very contemporary, very modern as far as what we're used to seeing in a lot of these new custom luxury homes. So first off, let's talk about this island in the kitchen. What's really neat, and one of the first things you notice when you approach the kitchen, is that we do have dual islands. Now, this is the proper island, and then over here we have our secondary island, which really presents itself as a dining room table, a kitchen table. But I love the way this looks. It looks much more like a modern and updated kitchen. So of course we have Calcutta quartz counter surface, very contemporary. And of course we have the obligatory waterfall returns on both sides, including the secondary island. So really neat, off to a good start. So you're gonna notice this back wall here has shiplap. We've got floating shelves. We have the same Calcutta quartz counter surfaces. We have this beautiful window that looks out into the outdoor kitchen beyond in the backyard, and we'll get to that a little bit later. We have a beautiful farm sink, very French in style, nice plumbing hardware, really cool. But back to this island real quick. This is a funny one, guys. Like, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. So we are under $3 million. I believe we're under 3 million. So that means we only need one dishwasher, but guess what? Guess what, guys? We actually have 2 dishwashers. So we have a proper Maytag stainless steel dishwasher, and this is where it gets really interesting. So in the custom cabinetry, we do have a paneled Miele dishwasher, and this one is more like a European dishwasher. It's like, I'd say 60% of the size of a normal dishwasher. So technically, we do have 2 dishwashers, although it's really like 1.5, but we'll round up and just say 2 dishwashers. So we're on to something. Now, you may have already noticed in the kitchen, we have differentiated cabinetry. So a lot of times you'll see upper and lower cabinets that have a different either texture or color or veneer. Here, it's interspersed all throughout the kitchen. So on one hand, we have this very high gloss, modern cabinetry. And then you'll see interspersed, we do have our typical TFL cabinetry. So very indicative of what you see in high-end Blue Heron homes. Thermally fused laminate, has a nice wood grain texture to it, warms up the kitchen a little bit. We extended the counter surface to the backsplash. So really cool, really great job in the kitchen. Coming down here a little bit further, we have our professional stove. So here we have our Thermador 48-inch professional stove. And what time is it, guys? I know a lot of you are really happy. Yes, we do have a pot filler, so we can rejoice. We have 1.5 dishwashers and we have a pot filler. I think that checks all the boxes for everyone, right? Now above, we have the matching 48-inch ventilation hood, really cool illumination array around it, really nice. And like I mentioned, the backsplash matches the counter surface, so we have the same quartz and it's extended all the way to the ceiling. Now, coming down a little bit further, now it starts to get a little bit interesting. So whereas we had the Thermador professional stove, here we have a double oven array built in by Viking. So technically you have 2 ovens here and you have 2 ovens there. So you have 4 separate cooking ovens. So if you're having a big soiree, if you're a big foodie and a chef, you can rejoice with 4 ovens and 1.5 dishwashers. Coming down a little bit farther, we do have our built-in Sub-Z refrigeration. So typical Sub-Z 70-30 split, built in, and with our custom panels, really nice. Now back to the island side, if you keep kosher or you want a prep sink, we do have an undermount sink in the island. We do have a custom ice maker in the island. And then of course over here we have our built-in microwave oven, so it's kind of hidden from sight in the upper cabinetry. All right, now we're gonna come down a little bit farther. Now you can kind of see the second island. We've got some nice illumination over the island. And this is a really, really cool area. So they managed to extend the kitchen a little bit farther. And this, I would say, is kind of like our morning bar area. So over here, you'd probably have your condiments, you know, like your sugars, your creamers, whatever you want, because right adjacent to it right here is our Miele built-in espresso maker. So very, very nice, very modern, very contemporary as far as what you want to see in higher end luxury kitchens. And this is where things get really, really cool. So, you know, affectionately, we have the beer fridge in the garage, but for a more civilized time, here we have our auxiliary refrigeration. So this is kind of neat because here we have the wine refrigeration on this side. And one of the little things, you know, I'm a freak for appliances and I just love little details. And I love this little cool detail. You even have specific tags to denote which type of wine that you're putting into here. So your Burgundies, your Merlots, your Cabernets, you can have everything labeled. So God forbid you don't have to pull the bottle out to see what it is. And then over here we have typical refrigeration and we have freezer drawers below. So really, really cool what they managed to do by extending the kitchen. Now that we've seen the kitchen, let's come into the family room. So immediately when you come into the house, you walk pretty much straight into this area, which is the family room. And there's a lot going on here. So we have double height ceilings, so it's really wonderful. So you're about 22 feet high here. So it makes the space really nice and open. From the ceiling standpoint, we have these decorative beams, which kind of gives it a little bit of a rustic, cool look. Clearly you can see we have double French doors that lead us into the backyard, which we will see later. And then over here we have our media wall. So here we have about a 75-inch display. We have our Sonos soundbar and we have a 72-inch electric fireplace. So a perfectly reasonable area to watch television, but little spoiler alert, there's a much better place to watch TV coming up in a moment. And then over here, love what they did here. So here we have a white quartz stacked stone veneer, which kind of creates an accent wall. You'll see it in other areas when we get over here, like the pillars, etc. All right, let's come back down this direction. Let's see what's going on in the rest of the house, and then we'll work our way back to the other side of the house. So coming through here, over here, oh, forgot about the wine. Man, Drew got me. He caught me slipping. How could I forget the wine closet? All right, let's talk about the wine closet. On the back side of this wall was our wine refrigeration. And if you wanted to showcase your primo bottles, here you have a beautiful decorative wine closet, beautiful illumination above, nice and good to go. All right. Now let's check out the dining room area. So over here on the left side, this is our formal dining room area. So beautiful crown molding everywhere. On the front, we have a nice bay window that looks into the driveway. Over here, we have another shiplap wall. You're gonna notice a lot of Raiders themes going on, especially in a little bit, a lot of black, some gray, white contrast, really cool. And even all these archways have been crowned, so very nice, very decorative. You can see we have all this stone creating this dramatic archway, really, really neat. Now, coming over here in this direction, this is our mud deck area. So even our seating here is that same quartz counter surface that we saw in the kitchen. We do have exterior access, so if you parked right by the front door, you could actually just walk right in this door in lieu of the front door. And then over here on the right side, this is our access door to the garage. So we've got a 3-car garage, epoxy flooring, and we even have a NEMA 1450 EV plug if you do have an electric vehicle, and it's already set up with an NACS Tesla plug charger. So we're off and going. All right, let's come down this hallway. You can see right here, this is the entrance to the kitchen, which means right here on the left side, here we have our walk-in pantry. So a really nice large style pantry, and we even have a barn door if you wanted to keep it closed. Coming down a little bit further, let's head into this area. So this right here is our laundry room. So all the cabinetry, these were cherry cabinets that have been treated. So it's a navy blue hue color, kind of a little bit more modern contemporary offset with the brass hardware. And I thought this was kind of cool. So right here in this area closet, right here where you see a little laundry hamper, that's because we have a laundry chute upstairs. So kind of cool, a little old school. You don't really see laundry chutes anymore. But obviously we have our washer, dryer, we have a nice pure white quartz counter surface here in the laundry room, and we have a nice marble backsplash. So perfectly nice laundry room. Now let's across the hallway from the laundry room. This is an interesting and really pragmatic floor plan scenario that they did. I can't say I've seen this done before, but I think this is pretty ingenious. So if you do have guests, there's basically 2 bathrooms downstairs that your guests would be using, and this is one of them. So whether you want to call this kind of the powder bathroom or not, this is actually a full bathroom. But what's neat is you can see there's another door here. So this is kind of like a vestibule area, but if you wanted to use this as a bedroom and keep it private, you keep that door closed, and then all your guests have perfect ingress and egress to this bathroom. On the other hand, if you want to keep this en suite, you close this main door, and then this whole area just becomes part of the suite. Kind of sweet. All right. Into this bathroom, we have a beautiful marble mosaic tile floor. We have a great, nice, more modern 3D subway tile creating the shower surround. Really nice walk-in with a rainfall shower head. And then over here, very modern. So we have a floating vanity, downward firing LED illumination, nice shelf, more shiplap, and we have an LED backlit mirror. So really, really nice. And then we come in here. So as we step down, we come into another bedroom. So once again, we have bay windows. We do have an ornamental wrought iron French door that leads us to the backyard. We have a display. So this again could be a bedroom, could be an office, could be a playroom for the children. And then over here, we do have a walk-in closet. All right. We've seen this side of the house. Let's go back to where we started the tour by the front entrance and then see the other wing of the house. All right, so back to where we started the tour. And once again, we have this beautiful ornamental iron steel double French door, dramatic entry. And you can even open these panes, let some natural light in. And again, we have double height ceilings, beautiful chandelier, a very nice and dramatic entry to the estate. Now, when I was talking about earlier and alluding to a better place to watch television, film, whatever, step into the movie theater. So through these double pocket doors, we enter into the movie theater. So nice and blacked out. We have a projector, we have stadium seating for 5, and we have a nice sofa. And then you can see we have a 130-inch projector screen. And this is kind of a neat little area. Over here, we have a KitchenAid drawer refrigeration system. So if you wanted to keep some beverages and you didn't want to have to walk all the way to the kitchen, you can keep everything in here, and you got a little microwave. So you can have your drink, you can have your popcorn, you can sit here, and I'm sure this is where Max was watching all of his game film and taking notes and figuring out how to improve the game. So really, really nice area for the entire family. All right, coming down this direction, we're gonna see the other wing of the house. And real quick, you know, I want to show that same stone veneer, that white quartz that I showed as far as the accent wall. You'll see them wrapped around these pillars here as well. We've got a nice floating staircase, and we have a nice decorative accent wall around the staircase. Over here on the left side, we have your coat closet for guests. And then here we have another closet that extends all the way around underneath the staircase. So tons and tons and tons of storage. Let's check this area out. So we have double French doors, and this was actually Max's office. So you can see it's very dramatic in here. All the walls are black. We've got the bay windows to look out. And even over here by the doors, we have double displays. So I'm sure when Max is signing those contracts for Max money, that's probably where this stuff went down. All right, let's check out Max's second office. Kind of a joke, but actually more important than that office. So when we come into here, we have a little exercise room. So we've got our Stairmaster, the bane of my personal existence for cardio. We got our Nordic track, we got a display, but this is cool. And this really is starting to appear much more on high-end luxury homes. The whole spa and wellness has become a really huge feature. So This is kind of a neat one. I know I could appreciate this. So here we have a full professional cold plunge system. So after you get your cardio on, you can hop into the cold plunge and start your recovery. We've got double French doors that lead out to the backyard, and we'll kind of pivot around here a little bit. We do have a custom built-in on this wall, but what's neat is this right here is actually a Murphy bed. So you can actually utilize this as a spare bedroom if you do have family that, you know, is pretty large and you need to stuff some people somewhere else. So that's kind of neat. All right, coming out of this area, once again, we have that same setup on the opposite side of the home. So kind of have this vestibule landing area. So again, we can close this door and make this complete ensuite, or we can leave this door open, close the door into the sleeping quarters, and then guests have perfect ingress and egress into this bathroom. But because it could be ensuite, and kind of is, we do have a nice shower. So the shower is beautiful. So here we have a 12 by 24 inch black marble looking porcelain tile, a nice pebble shower pan, just wonderful. We have a custom vanity, nice above mount sink, LED illuminated mirror. And here we have a little bit of a different flooring. We've got 12 by 24 inch high gloss honed porcelain, very similar to the cabinetry we saw in the kitchen. And then let's come into this bedroom, really a nice welcoming bedroom. So this is a spare bedroom for your guests. Beautiful windows. We've got another bay window area over here. And then over here, we have a pretty nice large size walk-in closet. But again, a great spare bedroom for your guests to stay in. All right, guys, we have seen the entire downstairs of the property. Let's go upstairs. Let's check out the primary suite, because the bathroom up there, really nice. I'll meet you upstairs. All right, guys, welcome to the second floor. So we're currently in this beautiful landing area. We got some seating, nice and cozy. Over this balcony area, we're overlooking the entry, and behind the camera on that side, that's the dramatic family room. Now over here on the right, this is where the primary suite is, and the entire side of the home is just the primary. But we're gonna start off with two of the secondary bedrooms, because these are pretty incredible secondary bedrooms. So first off, we're gonna start on the one here on the left. And this is more of like an apartment. So let's say you have a teenager living in the home. This is probably where they're gonna wanna be. So we have a beautiful sleeping quarters area. We have bay windows, crown molding throughout everywhere. And then this is where things get really interesting. So coming down here, we have a bathroom over here on the left side, but let's check this out on the right. We've got a big barn door that leads us to this retreat. So this is neat because in its current incarnation, you can see we have a sofa, a viewing area. So whether or not your teenager wants to make this into like a little family room entertaining area, or if this needs to be a proper office area, you can do both. Really neat. We still have our ornamental iron French door, and this leads out to a nice larger size balcony, kind of cool. And then over here on this side, we do have a proper walk-in closet with a pocket door. So again, this is more like an apartment more than just a typical ensuite bedroom. Even coming into the bathroom, we still have a door. So for sound and light isolation, we've got that. Over here, we've got a proper walk-in shower, really lovely, and we even have a bathtub. So again, in most homes, this would actually be the primary suite. Really neat. Coming down a little bit farther, this gets really interesting. So here we have double vanities. We have a cultured marble counter surface, much more modern backsplash that leads all the way up to the ceiling with illuminated LED mirrors. Just a great bathroom. And like I said, this normally in any other property, this would actually be the primary suite. So really lovely. Now we're gonna go across the hallway. We're gonna check out the other secondary bedroom. It's not as dramatic as this one, but still pretty amazing. So walking into the sleeping quarters area, this is really cool. So here we have double French doors, same ornamental iron, and this leads out to a larger balcony, and this overlooks the entire front of the property. So really neat. You can see how large, how expansive this room is. So again, your kids can fight and argue over which room they get. Both of them are great in different ways. So coming into the bathroom, we have this hexagonal white tile. We have our floating vanity, LED illumination, nice TFL cabinetry, same cultured marble counter surface, really neat. The difference is here we only have one versus the double vanity in the other bathroom. Behind me over here, this is actually our walk-in shower, and this one's pretty cool. This is pretty wild. So here we have an iridescent mosaic tile that creates this incredible shower. All right, now that we've seen this wing of the house, follow me across that hallway. Let's check out the primary suite because there's some really neat stuff going on over there. All right, through the double doors, we come into the primary suite, and this is spacious. This is a massive, massive area. So first off, let's talk about the media wall. So here we have a really beautiful and elegant media wall, another about 75-inch display here, but now we actually have a linear gas fireplace in lieu of the electric fireplace that we saw downstairs in the family room. Coming over a little bit over to the sleeping quarters, love what they did with the designer wall here. Kind of a neat little designer touch. Over here, we have another ornamental French door that leads us to a balcony that overlooks the backyard. But now down here, this is where things get kind of cool, kind of interesting. So over here behind the bed, we have basically a morning bar area. So we have our undermount sink, beautiful dramatic quartz counter surface. We do have refrigeration, so whether you got bottles of water for first thing in the morning when you wake up and want to hydrate, or you want to keep some bottles of Chardonnay in here for your nightcap, either way, you're covered. So really neat. And you can even have like a countertop espresso maker or whatever in case you don't want to traverse the stairs and go downstairs for your morning cup of joe. This is a neat area, and guys, I would love to hear, what are your thoughts? This is a really huge, cool retreat. So I'd love to hear what you guys would do with this. This could be a secondary closet if you wanted. This could be another office if you're utilizing all the bedrooms. In this carnation, it seems like they're kind of just using this as like, yeah, a little study area, just a place to read, kind of a nice, neat area. Tons of natural light, and this overlooks the backyard. So let's come back into the sleeping quarters, because we got to check out the closet and we got to check out the bathroom, because this bathroom is pretty incredible. So crossing the bed, we're going to get to this area, which is the closet. But once again, we kind of have a vestibule area before we get to the closet. All the arches have been dramatically framed in, really nice, really elegant. And I'm joking that this is his closet. So we have basically a closet wall of custom cabinetry. And then we have a more dramatic makeup counter, which you'll see why later. But the reason is this is the real closet. So coming through this archway, you can see we have all custom built-in cabinetry. We have this beautiful, beautiful island with the same Calcutta quartz counter surface that we saw downstairs in the kitchen and in other areas. Again, ornamental iron, double French doors that leads to another balcony off of the front. So if you want to air out your closet and get a little fresh air, you can do that. Or if you want to give the neighbors a show while you're getting ready, it's Vegas, go for it. All right, out of the closet, now let's check out the bathroom area. So first off, the flooring transitions. So similar to the counter surface that we just saw, here we move to a large format 24 by 48 inch porcelain tile. And over here on the right, we actually have his and her water closets. That's actually huge when you get to the luxury level. And usually in this price range, you start to see this, but a lot of times you don't. But benefit of having a custom built home, even though this home was built in '92. So you have his and her toilets, which we'll see a little bit farther down. Love this area. So here we have our TFL cabinetry. We have our pure white quartz counter surface. We have 3 LED illuminated mirrors and a beautiful, beautiful accent wall here inlaid with marble. Just really, really elegant. Coming down a little bit further, we have our secondary water closet. So again, behind the camera, his and hers, and here his and hers. But this is where things really start to get interesting. So I love that we get into this shower area. I don't know if you can call this just a shower. This is like a shower room. This is like a bathhouse. So first off, we have this really cool, really modern floating bathtub. Love, love, love what they did here. And while I'm not personally a fan of having the bathtub in the shower like we've seen before, this isn't. It's still kind of a separate area. But I do love the fact that we have a curbless entry, a seamless floor that leads us into the shower room. So over here you see we have his and her shower niches, really neat. We have This post right here, we have body washers to hit you. We do have a handheld, and I love we do have a proper rainfall shower heads, his and her. You truly could have two people showering at the exact same time without any disruption whatsoever. Love the brass linear drain here. Just an incredible, incredible bathroom. And I really kind of love the way they reimagined the shower area. All right, we have seen the entire downstairs. We've now seen the upstairs. Meet me out back. Let's see what's going on with this amazing backyard. All right, guys, welcome to the backyard. So through the double French doors, and we come out underneath this just beautiful and dramatic patio cover. Really love how it's trellised, so it lets in a little bit of light, but not too much. You can see all the Roman pillars that line this area. Just wonderful. Now coming over here, really, really neat. Love having the outdoor kitchen. We've got a display here to keep you company while you're manning the grill. We got our barbecue grill. We've got an undermount sink. Everything is granite counter surfaces. We have refrigeration over here. And again, you know, we're in Vegas. Even today, it's about 90 degrees. It's nice in the shade, not so much out in the sun. So to be able to have this really intimate, cozy, and shaded area is just wonderful. This is an area you would want to cook and grill, having all this shade. We do have this door that leads into that downstairs bedroom that we saw earlier, but let's come around the side of the house and see what's going on over here. You can see we've got plenty of space. Nice to have a really wide and large lot. So coming down here, you can see we have an outdoor shower. So if you wanted to rinse off, you can come right down here, hit the shower. Love what they did over here. Over in this direction, this wall sheaths all the pool equipment, so it kind of suppresses some of the noise and certainly keeps the unsightly equipment from anyone in the backyard. Over here on this pavers, we do have water, so if you decided to have a fountain or a water feature, you already have the plumbing there ready to go. And then over here, we have a really lovely sauna. So most of the time, you can just sit out back and enjoy the 100-degree heat and let Vegas be your sauna. But you know, in wintertime, you can head into the proper sauna and get your heat on. I love this perspective. This really, I think, sets the backyard off appropriately. But now let's talk about the pool. Love, love, love the pool because this is actually practical. As you may or may not know, the current regulation in Las Vegas and in Henderson is 600 surface feet for the water. So that gives you about a 60 foot by 10 foot. This is probably about 20 feet by 60. So this is about twice the size of the pool that you can currently build. So congratulations, the work's been done for you. Another thing, have you guys noticed in all of the videos, we never have diving boards. The reason is most pools are only 6 feet deep, so that eradicates needing a diving board altogether. The pool itself is wonderful. You know, even though the home is older, the pool's been modified, we do have a self-cleaning, so you do have those pop-up heads that push all the debris towards the drain. Really, really neat. Thank you, Maxx. I love the fact that we got a professional style hoop in the pool. That's probably where I'd be spending a lot of my time in the summer. Coming down this direction, over here on the left, we have a huge artificial turf area underneath the African sumac. So you have shade and you have a nice area for kids and fur babies to kind of hang out. And I love this space. So here we have a proper built-in patio cover. You can see our pillars here that are flanked with all the brick to match the veneer of the house. And here through these double doors, this was the exercise room and the cold plunge. So you could work out when the weather's nice, keep it open. And I love just this intimate area here. So we have a nice seating area. We do have our gas fire pit for conversations, but let's check out my favorite part. So check this out. Now, look, I know Maxx is a baller, but I'm more of a hooper. So this speaks to me completely. Originally, this was a tennis court. You can kind of tell by the orientation. This was more designed to be a tennis court. But Maxx, I love where your head's at. We got Raider colors for the court, and we have a proper basketball hoop. So just incredible. Guys, I always read your comments, so I'm really interested to hear what you guys think of the property. What's your favorite part? And ultimately, you know, we're talking $2.7 million for almost 6,000 square feet with a basketball court, with a movie theater in one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in all of Las Vegas that's guard gated and fully custom. So I think from a value proposition, this is an incredible, incredible property. And hey, It's Max's house, right? All right, guys, special thanks to listing agent for allowing me to film this property. As always, if you have any interest in this specific property or luxury real estate in Las Vegas in general, please contact me directly. All of my information is in the property description. Stay tuned for another property tour next week. Until then, click to like, click to subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.